Sourdough Sam.
No, Sourdeath Sam.
Sourdeath Sam.
Sourdough Sam.
Sourdeath Sam.
Disrespect to Sourdeath Sam will not continue.
Well, hello, friends. Check, check. Is this working? Chat, let me know. Counting on you, chat. Can you hear me now? Say the word. Say the word. What would 49ers Public Access be with some technical difficulties, huh? And what would a 49ers season be without some technical difficulties? Yes, the 2024 49ers and 49ers Public Access have a lot in common in the sense that should be nice, but just a lot of technical difficulties that are driving people crazy, myself included.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But nevertheless, we persist. Yes, we do. So, for those who didn't hear me the first time, my name is Sourdeath Sam. I am the host of 49ers Public Access with Sourdeath Sam. And it is a pleasure to be here, sort of, because obviously we have a team that kind of stinks right now. We got to talk about it. Let me pitch you this. If you had a team on offense that was ranked number 6 in passing yards, number 7th in rushing yards, and on defense, 4th in passing yards against, 6th in interceptions, and 7th in rushing yards against, right? Top 10 in all those categories. Wouldn't you say that team was a good team? Wouldn't you say that team has aspirations for a higher calling of playoff seeding? Wouldn't you at least insinuate that they're having a pretty good year? Well, ladies and gentlemen, these are your 5-5 49ers. This is one of the challenges, one of the conundrums we deal with when it comes to the 49ers. It's that on paper, the team looks amazing. When you look at the statistics, they look like we should be doing better than we are. But lo and behold, we have yet another game that we let slip through our fingers in the fourth quarter. And c'est la vie. That seems to be the modus operandi, I think is how you say, of what we've been dealing with this season. But you know, I've got to say that the hope is still there. I'm a serial optimist. I say that quite frequently. And you kind of have hope that things can go well. But when you've got a special teams that keeps falling apart, it's like there's an adhesive that's just not gluing everything together. And then every other piece starts falling apart with it. And truthfully, it's becoming a huge issue to the point where even the playoffs are potentially at risk. But nonetheless, we shall persist. We shall try and continue to do our best. Because that is what friends do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Speaking of friends, I got a friend coming on the show very shortly here. His name is Kyle Madson. You may know him from the Insiders, Candlestick Chronicles, or as the managing editor of the Niners Wire. So stay tuned. He will be coming on soon. But before he does, we need to have a little conversation about a doggy of the day.
Big dog. Big dog. Dog of the day.
So obviously in a loss, it doesn't feel great giving accolades out, but someone who truly, truly does deserve it. Big dog of the day is Juwan Jennings, who I happen to think is having a phenomenal season, unfortunately, under these circumstances. He should be riding a high of having an incredible year for his career, and yet he is stuck in the trenches of a 5-5 team that is underperforming. But nonetheless, 91 yards, a touchdown, much needed touchdown, and 9.1 yards on average per catch, which we appreciate you, big dog, because all of those catches feel like they come when we need a gasp of air, when we need some oxygen to fuel ourselves, because it seems like we keep getting stuck in the mud. But Juwan Jennings is one of the few players on this team, I would say next to George Kittle on offense, who has been carrying the flag that gives me hope that maybe, just maybe, this offense can help get over the hump that the special teams puts them in, and maybe, just maybe, win some games ahead. So, ladies and gentlemen, my dog of the day, Juwan Jennings.
Big dog. Big dog. Dog of the day.
Close enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we also, I hate to do it, but I think we should talk to Kyle. A lot of people have been talking about him, and I think we should check on our friend. So, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle 5000. Hey, buddy. How you doing, Kyle?
I just don't want to talk about it.
Oh, buddy, don't say it like that. You're strong. I believe in you. What's going on? Talk to me, baby.
It's just every day, it's the same shit. Another injury. Another fucking Grant Cohn rant where I'm the bad guy. Everyone wants me to be fired. And it's just fucking hard. I just miss the days when all of my Pro Bowlers were just playing like Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
And now they're just playing like shit.
Well, hold on. I don't think they're playing like shit, Kyle. I just think there's some lingering issues. I think age is starting to play into things, but they're not playing like shit, man. I think you're getting a little heavy on that.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. They're not playing like shit. It's just nothing seems to be going my way. Everyone wants me to get fired, and I'm just having a hard time.
I hear you, man. Well, hey, look. I got some good news. We got Kyle Madson coming on the show. He's a good time. He's a fun guy. That should be a fun one to watch.
You know what? That does make me feel better. Makes me feel good. I like Kyle Madson. Funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
Love his takes.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a good one.
I think so, too. All right, well, hang in there, buddy. You sound like you're doing pretty fucking bad right now, but I love you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I wish you well. Kyle 5000, everyone. He's having a hard time. Everyone's calling for his job. That's fucking hard. You don't want that in your life. You know what else you don't want in your life? A stack of losing parlays. But guess what? I'm giving it to you anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sourdeath Sam's $5 pick 'em. Look. All right. All these are touchdowns, folks, so I'm not going to go ahead and read off those little details. I will tell you the players, though. I got George Pickens getting one on Thursday. I got Nico Collins getting one. Devon Achane, got him getting in the end zone. Terry McLaurin, we'll see. I think he needs a little bounce back game. Justin Jefferson, Chuba Hubbard, who's having a good season, by the way. Kenneth Walker, and you know what? My dog of the day, Juwan Jennings. If you want a piece of this action, ladies and gentlemen, Sourdeath Sam's $5 pick 'em. That's $5 to win over 1,000 for show. I never will, but I might. If you want in on this action, if you want to put 5 down to win over 1,000, if you think you're smarter than me, bit.ly/Sourdeath Sam. That's bit.ly/Sourdeath Sam. And you know what? And if you go to that link and you use that link, your first deposit is going to be matched in bonus cash up to $1,000. So one more time now, bit.ly/Sourdeath Sam. Yeah, man. You know, I'm really hoping this season turns around. I think one of my biggest fears is that it's the beginning of the end. And you sort of get the feeling that there's been a lot of just bad bounces this season. And I feel like there's sort of two camps of fans at this stage, right? You've got the camp that says this is all Kyle Shanahan. These players are underperforming. The ship is sinking. It's the captain's fault. Then you've got another camp that sort of addresses these things in a sort of microscope of circumstances, right? We're talking injuries. We're talking special teams. We're talking injuries to the special teams. There's a myriad of different issues that have been plaguing this team that certainly could be pointed at to say this also very well could be the reason. Because when those little bad things happen and you drop a game to the Rams and you drop a game to the Seahawks, the ripple effect of what's happening momentum-wise, of what's happening morale-wise, is so palpable. And you're seeing players just not acting like themselves. You're seeing players go into the locker room in front of interviews, and they just seem so, if I dare say, like kind of checked out. It seems like they're not really... The vibes are atrocious, is what I'll say. The vibes are becoming a little bit sour. And as someone with sour in their name, I've got a good radar for this stuff. Now, obviously winning cures all, but they've got quite a schedule ahead. It's not impossible, but ladies and gentlemen, we play the Packers next. We got the Bills on the schedule. This team very easily could be a 500 team. We might need to accept that as a reality, but I hold out hope for a better future. I hold out hope for a better promise of tomorrow. Yes, yes. We shall not be burdened by what has been or whatever. You know what I mean? We can overcome this. I think Dre Greenlaw could be of great assistance if he comes back. But here's the thing, is I think this season we've also relied on so many impressive players to come back being themselves after injury. Himself. You might know him from the Insiders on ESPN 1320. You might know him from Candlestick Chronicles on Blue Wire Pods. And motherfucker, you also might know him as the managing editor of the Niners Wire. You might know him from all these things. But you know what? Today, you might know him as the guest of honor on 49ers Public Access with Sourdeath Sam. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Madson.
Love to the audience. Wow, thank you so much, everybody. This is fantastic. Thank you. Wow.
Oh, dude, just happy to have you, man. This has been a dream. It's been a dream of mine to have you on the show.
Wow.
I love everything you're
one
about.
of the nicest things that anyone's ever said to me. Thanks.
Oh, well, I got plenty more nice things to say to you.
Awesome.
But that's just the
Awesome. I love
start,
it.
man. Yeah. I'm reeling you in little by little.
Perfect.
But yeah, happy to have you. Obviously, the circumstances of our team not doing so well invite unfortunate conversation, but that's showbiz, baby. That's how it goes. And I think it's only fair for us to start with the Hawktastrophe that we have seen losing against the fucking Seahawks. So go ahead and let me know your thoughts on that matchup.
Oh, man, not great. Not their best effort. I think the most concerning thing was that was an opportunity to kind of plant their flag in this season as like okay, they're back. They're a Super Bowl contender. They beat the heck out of Seattle. They're tied for first in the division. Like all these good things would have happened if they had won, and that they played as poorly as they did again cemented a little bit for me that I think this is just kind of what this year's team is. And that's super disappointing given I think the expectations going into the year, and then the expectations I think that everybody had when they started 4-4. It was like, all right, well, we've seen them in this spot before. They've bounced back. They play their best football in November. Christian McCaffrey's coming back. All these things are trending up. And then after 2 games, it's like, oh, they might just be this team. And that's a bummer.
Yeah, it seems like every other game we have another like sideshow Bob rake that we step on that whacks us in the face.
Yes.
And it's just absolutely crushing our momentum. I mean, you've got a minute left on the clock. You've got 81% chance of victory. And then, of course, something goes wrong against the team that doesn't have a winning record, because that just seems to be what we've been doing all season. It's just I have yet to have seen a edge-to-edge impressive victory all 3 phases. I have not seen it, and we are still searching for our identity. And I don't know if it's because we've been sort of siphoning in star players as the season's going and sort of losing some on the way, or if it's just because we're not able to build our momentum, or if it's because who knows. I mean, the Super Bowl hangover allegedly is real, but the Kansas City Chiefs seem to be doing just fine after the Super Bowl. So frankly, I think we on paper, it feels like we have more star power than they do.
Sure. Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there at the top. It's like there's something different every week that goes wrong. There's not one thing you can point to, right? You can't go, oh, it's just the pass rush, or oh, it's just Brock Purdy's not playing well, or like he's playing fine. I'm just throwing out examples. Sure. There's not just one thing you can point to and go, if they fix that, it's fine. Like you said, every week it's something different. And I think it ties into the whole idea of a Super Bowl hangover, because I've always pushed back on that idea. Especially when you go to last year, you had the Eagles at 10-1 after losing the Super Bowl, right? But Jason Kelce said something really interesting on ESPN, or in a piece on ESPN, how the team was 10-1, but everybody was miserable the entire time because they were still dealing with the effects of losing the Super Bowl. And I think that might be what we're seeing with this year's 49ers. Like, we talk a lot about they can't close games. And it's like maybe just the physical and emotional weight of losing on the biggest stage 4 out of the last 5 years, or losing on such a big stage in 4 out of the last 5 years, is just kind of weighing on them. Like that mental ability to lock in and ramp up and get ready for a game in November, knowing how close they got 9 months ago, is weighing on them a little bit. And that wouldn't shock me at all if that's what it is. Certainly. And I also think there was this sort of, I think there was also this underlying thought of just, well, let them shake off the dust a little bit in the regular season. Once they get in the playoffs, they'll figure it out. The playoffs are not a guarantee. The playoffs, if anything, we've got a long way to go, is what I would say to be the kindest I could be against the situation. And so now all of a sudden, it's not just, oh, well, let's just get to the postseason. Let's all stay in one piece. This car has been falling apart from, bumper to trim from day one. And it's not looking good coming into the finish line. And it's certainly not looking like a sports car ready to go the distance to the Super Bowl. So we're sort of we keep hoping for a string of games where we can stitch together some wins that say, okay, this is who we are. But it seems like we went from a team that we've gone from a team that always found a way to win to a team that somehow always finds a way to lose. And that is just the DNA of a team that just isn't it. Yeah, I think that's a little bit the reality that everybody's kind of getting to now is, hey, that's just what this year's version of the 49ers is. And it's disappointing. And I think we're going to have to see some changes made in the offseason, but just to the roster and such, if they're going to kind of move forward and reopen their Super Bowl window. But I'm with you, man. Like, they got to go win in Green Bay to keep their playoff hopes kind of on life support. And then after that, you've got to probably win. What's that put them at? 6-5. So you're going to have to win like 5 of your last 6, maybe 4 of your last 6. And you got games against Detroit and you're in Buffalo and you're at Arizona and you got a home game against the Rams. You got to go to Miami. Like, ooh,
I know
it's
not pretty.
It's a steep hill, man. It's tough.
And so one of the topics that's been coming up amongst the most aggrieved fans is fire Shanahan. This fucking alleged genius. Get rid of him. I'm not of the camp that says fire Shanahan. Are you of the camp that says fire Shanahan?
No.
So,
I mean, I get it. Go on. Sorry.
So I pose a different question because I
Okay.
figured. I just knew. I just knew you wouldn't be that person. But my question
Thank you.
tonight, what would it take? What is the situation forecasting the future? Where would the line be drawn? What would it take to fire Kyle Shanahan?
I think anytime you lose a locker room, that becomes a thing. But look, man, if this is all contingent on what the next era of 49ers football looks like, right? Because no great coach, even like Bill Belichick, Andy Reid with the Chiefs. We're watching the Chiefs right now undergo a different era of Chiefs football. They're just still really freaking good, right? Like now they're a defense first team that's dragging its offense along after they were an offense first team that was dragging its defense along. Like we've seen that change kind of be undergone in real time. We have to see the same with the 49ers now. They've had basically the same kind of MO for the last 5 years, and the names have changed and the players have changed, and they bring in Christian McCaffrey, and obviously they're different in some ways, but for the most part, they've largely been the same style of team. Now it needs to adapt. They need to change. They need to evolve. And I think Kyle Shanahan is the right guy to have that evolution with, but to me, it's, okay, what does next year look like? And if next year, let's say they finish, let's go to 8-9. Let's say they finish under 500 this year. They're 8-9. And then next year they go 7-10, 8-9 again. That's when I think the seat gets hot. And that's where I think going into, so I think he gets 25. And if 25 doesn't go well, I think he goes into 26 needing to show a pretty significant improvement right away. And if not, that's when I think they start thinking about making those changes. But you got to remember, man, like the Jim Harbaugh thing, I think really, I can say bad words, right?
Oh, that's one of the best parts of the show.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure because my brain wants to say really fucked with Jed York, and it did. I don't think he wants to go through that again because remember, Harbaugh had the 3 really great years, had 1 mediocre season where they go 8-8, and he gets fired. And then the next 2 years were a disaster. And then they hire Kyle Shanahan, and even Kyle Shanahan's first year was a mess. They started 1-10. That I don't think that's something that Jed York wants to deal with again. So I think he's going to have probably a longer leash than normal. And again, if Kyle Shanahan loses the locker room at any point here, I'll change my tune on that. But we had Kyle Juszczyk on Candlestick Chronicles, and I asked him what made Kyle Shanahan a good coach. And he said that he's a player's coach in the way that he is like sees you as a person, but is also holding people accountable. And he's demanding, but he's demanding of himself too. And players can hold him accountable. And that's why I think you see Diamador Lenore signing the contract he signed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why you see Brandon Ayuk, I mean, really deep down wanting to stay in San Francisco. Like I think these guys like playing for Kyle Shanahan. When that's not the case, then I think they'll make a change. If they can't evolve past whatever this version of 49ers football is, then they'll make a change. But it's not happening right now because they had 1 down year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and it's funny you bring up the Chiefs because there's really only one time the core memory I have of a team firing a coach where I just thought in my head, you shouldn't have done that, was Philadelphia and Andy Reid. And when you look at those seasons, the last, basically like the way it trickled down was in 2009, they had an 11-5 season, lost in the wild card to the Cowboys. 2010, they went 10-6, lost in the wild card to the Packers. And then in 2011, they went 8-8. The year after is when they went 4-12, and they said, "We're done."
Yeah,
I could see if the team misses the playoffs this year. I think the front office could effectively come together and say, special teams error, this injury, that XYZ. They could point to enough circumstantial moments throughout the season where they could say, we were still one of the highest ranked offenses in passing, in rushing, in defense, even in defense. Surprise, surprise. I think people are a little hard on the defense, but trust me, there's a lot worse in this league. And yet, these are the reasons that we can trace with a fine point ball pen that says this is what went wrong. I don't think they will have that same luxury in the following season if they go something like 4-12. Although I think they might have one chance to explain themselves, and if it's a worthy explanation, maybe they could. It just, to me, there are a lot of shades of Andy Reid here, and I know a lot of fans are saying, cut him, get him out of here. Kyle Shanahan, it's not working anymore. I promise you, with every fiber of my fucking being, you will watch Kyle Shanahan hoist the Super Bowl trophy with a different fucking team on his shirt if you let him go. Don't do it. That's my position.
Yeah, man. And I think the other important thing with Andy Reid too is they lost that Super Bowl in 2004, right? The next year they went 6-10 and missed the playoffs. And then the next year they went to the playoffs again at 10-6, and then they missed the playoffs again, and then he was still the coach. And then they went to playoffs 3 years in a row. They lost in the wild card round those 2 years, and that was where you picked up. So it's not like they were in the playoffs and running to the conference title game or the Super Bowl every single year. They missed the playoffs a couple times because stuff happens. Now, if they go 5-12 next year with the same roster, and it's just clear that there's no innovation and Kyle Shanahan's not pushing the right buttons, then okay, let's have a different conversation. But right now, to me, this year is Kyle Shanahan having his best season as a coach? Like, no. Are there things that I think he's not done great? Like, for sure, he's definitely not perfect, but they're not in a point where they're gonna move on from him because this has just been a catastrophic season and it's all his doing. You know, there's way too many things you can point to that are not Shanahan related.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I also agree with Jen there.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, I think that people aren't willing to tango in the nuance of these situations. Everything is so hot takey lately. It's either he's gone or keep him. And I love a good fucking comma. You know what I mean? Yes, but, or give you a litany of reasons, but there's also this. Like, allow me to elaborate, if you will, but unfortunately not enough characters or attention span on social media these days.
Sure.
So you defer to podcasts such as this. So I know you are a man of good judgment. So let's play truth or false.
Wow.
Yeah, I told you I was going to gas you up, baby. I'm not playing.
This is so great.
Yes, sir.
I like this. All right. And some of these are kind of like, I already kind of know we were going to go with some of these. So
wow, maybe I'll zag. You don't know me.
True. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, that's the
I'm
fun of true
crazy,
or false,
bro.
baby. That's the fun. I believe it, dude. I'm a little scared. That's why I'm glad we have a wall dividing us right here on the screen. True or false? If the 49ers miss the playoffs, they should just rebuild.
False. That's a lot. They have too many good players. Like, rebuilding to me says you're trading Nick Bosa, you're trading Fred Warner, you're getting rid of Christian McCaffrey, you sign Brock Purdy and tear it down to the studs, and they're not doing that. They have too many good players. And honestly, dude, they're not even, everybody watching this or listening to this knows they are like, 4 plays away from being 8-3 right now. I mean, it's just not. It's not like this is such a disaster that they need to tear everything down. So no, I think we're gonna hear this a lot, especially if they miss the playoffs or lose early in the playoffs. Retooling, and I think that's what it's going to be about. It's going to be about trimming some of their high dollar contracts, utilizing their younger players more, swinging in the draft for like players who can affect and impact the roster now. I think that's what we're more going to see than a rebuild.
Completely agree. I mean,
hell yeah, 1 for 1.
know what I'm saying? Look, I do not think that this team is angling for a complete rebuild. First of all,
No.
people take for granted how hard it is to get good players, to stack up enough circumstances to end up with this many all-pro players. I don't care.
Yes.
So, look, some of them, there is some mileage on some of these cars, okay? Whether that be due to age or whether it is to the value to output ratio. There are certain players that certainly are in the conversation of perhaps being maneuverable, is what we'll say. I do not think it's a rebuild. False. I do think that you may see some big names that you've loved, maybe owned a jersey of, that may end up on a different team. It's possible. It's possible. But at this stage, a rebuild far too premature.
Yeah.
So
rebuilding to me is like what the Panthers are doing.
Yes, or what the Jaguars are about to do.
Yeah.
Jawan Jennings is the 49ers' best receiver right now. True or false? This season. Active this season.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's true. I would have liked to have seen what Brandon Ayuk looked like as the season went on and he got his legs under him a little bit more. Unfortunately, he had his injury. But right now, I don't know how you say it's anyone other than Jawan Jennings. He's one of Brock Purdy's like go-to guys. He's producing. He's getting yards after the catch. He's making tough contested catches. Like, what more can you ask from the guy? He's been awesome. True.
2 for 2, baby.
Come on.
Yes,
Come on.
I also
didn't even
say
study for
true.
this test.
I also say true, amigo.
Hell yeah.
Because look, first of all, statistically, he's leading all receivers by receiving yards. So jot that in your little notebook. Number 2,
Done.
the crazy thing is that if we're talking wide receiver, in my opinion, I feel like the second best pass catching asset so far on this team is then Kittle and then Debo, at least as far as the season's concerned. Now, I'm not necessarily speaking on talent per se, because Debo has demonstrated that he can absolutely electrify, take over games. I think that he is dealing with a lingering injury that is taking away some of his mojo. And if we're talking about who is the best receiver on the team this season, it's Jawan Jennings, because not only has he been the most consistent, he's just been someone that has restored the hope of momentum getting built in so many drives that we've needed him to. And if I'm saying who's the best wide receiver right now active on this team this season, I'm saying Jawan Jennings for sure.
Yeah, man. Maybe you're right and Debo's dealing with an injury. But man, they might have to there might be some tough convos about Debo in the offseason.
That's what I'm saying. If you own a Debo jersey,
dog, he just like, it's not just that he's averaging whatever he's averaging per carry, 2.9 yards or whatever it is. It's that like you go look at like missed tackles forced and they're way down. His yak per reception is way down. Just watch. He just doesn't look like the same dude. I'm with you. I think he's got some kind of injury that's hampering him. But even if that's the case, like Jawan's just been a better player this year.
I agree. And if anything, credit to Jawan and credit to the front office sort of putting some money in his pocket before the season started, because what a bright spot. What a bright spot. It's
and if he had hit free agency, he would have made way more money than he's going to make next season.
I agree. And again, this might be another, Shanahan hopefully recognizing this, maybe putting the bug in someone's ear, but Lord knows we needed that option available to us this season, or perhaps it could be worse for us. Last question. The 49ers should explore options at quarterback this offseason. True or false?
Real quick, side note, sub question, true or false? Your graphics package is crazy. True. Okay, back to the real thing.
You're gassing me up now?
Yeah,
Shit.
dude, that was sick. I didn't even. Yeah, yes, sir. No, I'm gonna. Here's. I'm gonna sit on the fence. Here's true. Yes, I'm gonna say true, but not because of Brock specifically. I just think you should always be looking to upgrade at quarterback. And if for whatever reason some quarterback becomes available and the 49ers want to take a gander, then sure. But on the other hand, are they realistically going to do that? No. Brock Purdy's going to sign some exorbitant contract, probably in the range of $50 to $60 million. And he's going to be the 49ers quarterback for the foreseeable future. Like he hasn't been as efficient as he was last year, but I think he's a good player. And I think the 49ers really like him. So outside of backup QBs, I don't think they're going to explore anything other than an extension for Brock this offseason.
Audience, are you ready? True or false? I say true. I say true. That's 3 for 3. Exact same wavelength here. True, but they're not going to find anything better. Look, either you get Kirk Cousins at the tail end of his career when you're staring at an efficient quarterback sitting right in your bullpen. Lamar Jackson's not coming back on the market again. And even when he was on the market, was he really on the market? I just don't think that there's anyone who's going to be available who would give me any more confidence that they would be better than Brock. And even if you wanted to roll the dice for quarterback in the draft, get in fucking line, because there are people who have way more assets to play with, who have been planning for this for probably maybe even 2 seasons. So kick rocks, true, but they're going to explore, but they're going to go look at the market and go, are we really going to give up on this kid? No, they're not going to give up on him. So
no chance. Zero chance.
That's my 2 cents.
The best free agent quarterback next year is probably Sam Darnold.
Well, how the tables have turned, motherfucker.
Jimmy Garoppolo's a free agent.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, and Justin Fields will all be free agents in 2023.
Next.
Joe Flacco?
Okay. Joe Flacco? Ooh. Now we're fucking cooking. All right, everyone shut the fuck up. 49ers versus Packers. What are we looking for in this matchup besides to be hurt again? Obviously, you've got the Packers who are, they had their bye the week before the Bears game. They snuck that one out. But they're out for blood. I mean, they have a memory of us doing them dirty in the playoffs, and I'm sure that they would love to see a 49ers wounded team get caught underneath their cleats. So, and by the way, they realistically could probably be 13-3 at the end of the season, maybe getting them a 1 or 2 seed. So they've got a lot to play for. We also technically do, but we're really just playing to survive. So when you're looking at this matchup, how do you think we're going to fare? What sort of matchups are you anticipating here that could be intriguing? Where does this game go?
It's hard to feel great about the 49ers in any game right now, right? Like, it's just, are they going to play their first complete game of the year? Like, maybe. Is the offense going to tank? Maybe. Like, is it? The reason I'm concerned going into Green Bay is the Nick Bosa injury is a problem.
Yes.
And I am deeply concerned about their entire defensive line if he's out. I think they would have trouble stopping the run. I think they would really have trouble getting Jordan Love on the ground because they couldn't get Geno Smith on the ground late in the game without Nick Bosa, and Jordan Love is a much better athlete. So I'm very, very worried that the 49ers aren't going to be able to get any stops. That's the thing that jumps out the most to me. Like, their offense, I think, will figure it out at some point. I'm not that concerned about their offense. But defensively, I'm deeply worried about their ability to get Green Bay off the field.
Yeah, I agree. I think the one thing we have going for us is that it's not supposed to be snowing on Sunday. The one thing exactly. The one thing that I would say probably scares me, that is just the classic wild card of the 49ers, is just even if our defense is able to get key stops, even if our offense is capable of hanging up 20-plus points, maybe even a nice little 30, we still have the lingering albatross around our neck, which is the goddamn special teams unit. And Jake Moody, very much my boy, but, you know, I think he and I's professional relationship is a little strained right now.
Sure.
And there's just so many memories that I have of really important games coming down to that kick, and I have never been more scared in my life. You know, truthfully, the matchup that I'm looking for is the 49ers versus themselves. Are we going to shoot ourselves in the foot again? Are we going to find a way to lose? I get so infuriated looking at 3 out of 5 of those probability charts, and you just see it just cruising on the 49ers line until that very last second, just a pin, like a needle, shoots up. And at a certain point, you cannot just sit there being a statistical anomaly game after game after game after game. That speaks to such bad juju and such bad aura. And at some point, this all needs to get glued together. And truthfully, it really feels like had we not had special teams be a thorn like in our foot every time we try to step on the gas, our record could be substantively very different. Our odds of getting an important seed in the playoffs could be substantively different. And so that's kind of the matchup I'm looking for. 49ers against themselves, but if I had to get a subcategory, it's the same one it's always been, which is special teams.
Yeah, that's I think you can kind of tie those two things together, right? It's like it's been special teams, it's been penalties, it's been turnovers, and those have all been kind of the various things that have killed them in games this year. So yeah, and that's kind of the issue with trying to have confidence in the 49ers to go in and win a game is even if their offense and defense play well, it may not matter. And that's a killer.
I agree. Do you think the 49ers walk away with a win?
No, I'm not going to get bamboozled into this again. I have thought every week since I thought they were going to beat Kansas City. I thought they were going to beat Dallas. I thought they were going to beat Tampa Bay, but by like a lot. Like I thought they were going to dog walk Tampa Bay and they sneak out of there with a win. I thought they were going to beat the hell out of Seattle, and we see how that game goes. So it's like, you know what? I'm done trying to pretend like this team is going to turn a corner and I'm going to predict when they do it. If they do it, cool. Like that'd be incredible. But I'm not. I'm not comfortable sitting here going like, yes, they're gonna clean it up and be awesome in week 12 because we have 11 weeks of data that says otherwise.
And you know the cruel fate is that you would have appeared very prescient with that Tampa Bay prediction, because had all of those special teams field goals been made, you would have been right. Right.
I mean, come on, man.
I am going to say we are not going to win, which means that all of this pessimism, this like gaslighting cycle of losing hope means that we are going to fucking win again.
That's good time.
It's like you have to be so mentally disconnected that you have lost hope. They feed off of that. That's when they win. So
like nobody believes in us, kind of thing.
Right. So I gotta throw that reel in and see what happens here. So I'm going for a loss that's gonna be a win.
And the thing is not even just because it's Green Bay. Like Green Bay's good. I think Matt LaFleur is one of the 5 best head coaches in the league. I think their defense is awesome. Their young core of players is incredible. But if this was the Niners coming off their bye week, I'd feel so good about them going into Green Bay and winning. But we have the 2 games post-bye that show me they're just kind of what they are. So that's what I'm going to continue to believe in.
Yeah, and interesting point by Steve-O. First of all, 40 degrees and rain, true. And by the way, Purdy has like a very unique wrinkle Achilles heel where like I've seen him throw stinkers in the rain, and he already kind of doesn't look like fully himself right now. Still playing good ball, but just doesn't look 100%. I'm just saying. And I guess allegedly he wasn't throwing passes in practice today. Interesting. And also, they have Robert Saleh. Interesting. I do wonder what difference that will make. He certainly knows Kyle Shanahan very well. All right. I have one last thing to drag you through.
Great.
And then I can let you go. It is, have you seen Affirmations yet? Do you know what's about to happen to you?
No.
Oh, perfect.
No,
Okay.
this is
So
gonna be
first of all,
great.
this banner happens.
This
And then
is
second
adorable.
of all, I'm going to play the spa music that I co-wrote.
Okay.
And then the next thing that's going to happen.
You
is-
wrote this?
Well, you'll see. Trust me. You'll hear. You'll see. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Sourdeath Sam.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Sourdeath Sam's Affirmations. This is the one place on the internet where we will say nice things. Nice things about players. Nice things about coaches. Nice things about anyone who needs a little encouragement or just needs a little recognition or love. And I'm going to go start because you haven't done affirmations before. I'm going to give my affirmation to Kyle Shanahan. Kyle, listen up, you motherfucker. I know you're a genius. We all know you're a genius. But now you are an angry genius. And what should happen is your angry genius tendencies will drive you into a madness that I know will make you leverage every resource available to you to get yourself out of this jam. Because if there's the one thing you don't want to look like, it's not a genius. Because you are a genius. So I believe in you. Everyone's being a fucking hater. And I anticipate great things from you as the season unfolds. And you know what? Maybe you will pull it off. And we will all be wrong. All right. Do you have a nice or encouraging thing to say to anyone?
On the 49ers specifically?
No, it could be whoever.
You know what? Since we're on this 49ers tip, I'll just stick there. Hey, Brock. Kyle here. You are beautiful. You are smart.
Hell yeah.
You are kind. You are powerful
Hell yeah.
in ways that you don't know yet, and that's okay. But other people see it, and other people believe in you. Specifically the 49ers, who are going to pay you upwards of $60 million annually to play quarterback for their team. And when they do that, it's going to put the weight of a franchise, the weight of a fan base, the weight of 69 years, nope, more than that. It's 79 years of 49ers football and tradition, and the hopes of fans in a city on your shoulders to continue carrying the team forward into a new era of 49ers football. And you can begin that on Sunday in Green Bay. Go earn that $60 million. Earn everybody's love and adoration.
Hell yeah. Love a
Yeah,
good Brock
Brett.
Purdy affirmation.
Yeah, shout out to Brock. Yeah, I'm bad at math on the fly.
No, it's okay. I didn't know. 69 would have been better, but that's okay.
Yeah,
You could have
that's
lied. You can lie
No,
on the show. It's fine. No one
Okay,
listens.
yeah. No, the 49ers have been around for 69 years.
Hell yeah. Hold on.
49ers.
Hey.
Hey.
All right. I'm going to give affirmations to Fred Warner. I saw Fred Warner at a charity event the other day, and that dude is bummed out. He puts his all into every game. He was making a case for Defensive Player of the Year, and Lord knows he is effectively doing 5 jobs at once sometimes. And I just got to say, I see you and I appreciate you, because clearly you are someone who has grown into this leadership role. You have excelled at every assignment effectively you've been given. And I just want you to get your flowers, because I don't know how the DPOY cards are going to shake out for you this season. I don't. But I saw the vision, and I saw that award potentially in your hands. And I don't think this is over yet. I think you could still, in your career, win Defensive Player of the Year. I think you are that good. So stay strong, stay optimistic, be that dude you are, and I know good things will come. All right, I know you got to get out of here soon, so I'll give you one more. And it can be anyone. It doesn't have to be 49ers. It could be like,
Great.
I don't know, your neighbor.
Okay. Unfortunately, this person isn't my neighbor, because they're one of the great people we have, Bill Nye, the science guy.
Ooh.
We miss you. We adore you. and there's so much streaming money out there available for you. Why are you not hosting a show on a streaming service right now? I would subscribe to a streaming service. I would give my hard-earned dollars to a streaming service just to watch a show that you're on. Thank you, Bill Nye the Science Guy, for making the world a better place.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Did you know he had like a reboot on Netflix for a minute?
I didn't.
Oh yeah. Well, you could watch
I
that back.
I'm doing this off the dome, bro. I don't.
No, I'm not. First of all, shout out to you affirmations to you name dropping Bill Nye.
Hell yeah. I love
Game
Bill Nye the
recognized
Science Guy.
game.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he did a show on Netflix, and fucking Tyler the Creator helped do the intro song. Yeah, check it out.
Sure.
Just
Yeah.
fucking chief up and just watch some fucking Bill Nye, dude.
Hey, you already know what time it is. Let's go.
So, I really want to thank you for coming on. I have always loved everything you bring to that just god-awful platform of Twitter. You're such a bright light. You're also a fellow mourning Oakland A's fan, so we certainly have that in common. And I hope you will not be a stranger, because my affirmation to you is you are a wonderful guest. I will always love to have you. And it was absolutely a pleasure sharing this here stage with you under this affirmations banner and otherwise.
Wow, man. Well, I am happy to hop on anytime. You are genuinely hilarious, and it is very much appreciated.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Madson. Kyle, thank you for hopping on the show, dude. I know you got things to do. I'm going to go ahead and sign you up.
I got a quick question, just real quick. This has nothing to do with the 49ers or football. And this may be too personal. If you don't want to answer, all good. Your show, do your thing. What do you do for your job?
What do I do for my job?
Because your setup here, your setup, your camera, your background, your production quality with the cheering and the farts and the music. I know you do the AI stuff with Shanahan's voice, which is hilarious. Do you work in the audio video field?
So I have a background in film, television, video, etc. Actually, one of the jobs that I have several, but one of my sort of side gigs that's been taking off actually is I build these for other people. So like people who have companies and they want to record a bunch of content, stuff like that. I build out these little studios. So if you're looking for a studio, hi, my name is Sourdeath Sam. Are you looking for a content studio? Are you looking for a live streaming environment that really sets you apart from the competition? Well, look no further. Contact Sourdeath Sam for all of your video studio needs, and I would be glad to schedule a consultation to see how we can turn your camera onto you so that you can look like a star. Ladies and gentlemen,
Outstanding.
always be closing.
So wait, so you're in a studio right now? Is that real, your background?
Yeah, it's real. I mean, you know,
Get out of town.
I'll walk around a little bit.
Okay, great.
Look, there's
Oh
this
my God,
couch.
you have a cow. Oh my God. That looks amazing. Okay. He's going to sleep now. Okay. That's fine. Take a little nap.
It's real, baby. It's all real.
Because when you're sitting where you're sitting, the way it's lit, and this is, a testament to you as a studio builder, the way it's lit, it looks like a fake background.
Yeah, no, it's real. It's real.
That's awesome. That's incredible.
It probably would have been cheaper if it wasn't real. But yeah, I mean, if you look around where I am, you'd be like, oh, the mirage is broken.
Sure.
But that's what.
But I don't want
baby.
it broken.
But yeah.
Your entire room looks like that to me.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I want you to just fill in the blanks with something way sexier than what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Kyle, thanks for hopping on, man. Dude, we will chop it up. Don't be a stranger, man. You know how to find me in the DMs in the dark corners of the Bay Area. You know, just holla at me if you see me on the street. Feed me some trash. All right, Kyle, thanks for hopping on, man. I'm gonna sign everyone off.
Later, bro. Appreciate it.
All right, that's it. Is that it for the season? To be continued. Is that it for the show? Unfortunately, yes. But don't worry. I will be back next Wednesday. And if you want more of this, if you want this again, if you want this experience just one more time, then brother, I'm on Apple, Spotify podcasts. And of course, I'm on YouTube. So if you are here for the first time, please please subscribe. If you like podcasts, like and subscribe there too. If you see me in real life, like me there too. That's great. So I love you all. I'm hoping for the best. I'm going to say we're going to lose because then if I say that, we're going to win. So go 49ers. Let's get this W. Let's get back on track.